COVID cast. This Epic Disasters COVID cast. Now, here's the thing. I might have COVID. I don't know.
I know you might.
I was exposed to someone who has COVID.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait a minute.
No.
I was exposed to someone who was exposed to someone with COVID.
Right.
He took a test. He's currently waiting on the results.
Right, and you're starting to feel icky.
I feel cold. I feel like I'm getting a cold. And I don't know what COVID symptoms are.
Right.
But I get this every year at this time. It's a mixture of allergies and just seasonal cold. Here's the thing. Just because COVID is happening, you're not going to stop getting colds like you get every year, right?
No, you're not.
But everybody's just so spooked about it. It's like, it's COVID, it's COVID. So I don't know if it is. I'm trying to decide. I don't really want to go back and do another test. And if I do another test, I have to wait 3 days before it happens.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, whoever I'm involved with, it's going to infect. I don't know what to do.
Well, you had said something earlier that I kind of thought was funny. You said, I kind of hope I do have it, just get it over with. And I'm like, yeah but that... Just because you get it and get over it doesn't mean you can't get it again.
They don't know that. There's some cases where people are getting it again, but it doesn't seem like a very popular thing. They do believe that people have some antibodies, but that's true. You still could, and you still could die from it. 200,000 people
Thank you.
from
Yes.
it, so I could still die.
You could.
But then you get a new co-host.
That's true,
you
too.
get to drink all of the beer
That's
for
true, too.
the live beer review.
I mean, I'd miss you.
Let's do a live beer review. What do we got today? This looks very seasonal.
It is. It's another pumpkin beer. Let me put my glasses on so I can read it.
Let's have a pumpkin beer. And it's gonna have to really work hard to beat last week's. Last week's was good. I had another one of those. That was good.
Okay, so this is Sycamore Pumpkin Latte Blonde.
It sounds like a coffee.
It does. It's a blonde ale with
it actually
coffee and spices.
Okay.
And let's see. They want us to recycle the can, which we'd be happy to do.
Almost 6% alcohol.
5.8 to be exact. And I guess is Sycamore the brewing? No, brewed and canned in Charlotte, North Carolina. So they're close by.
Well, what's Sycamore? Is that tree? Maybe Sycamore tree? I don't know.
I'm trying to find out if that's the name of the brewery.
It's very golden, kind of a deep golden color here. What I tend to refer to as potty. It's the color of
urine. These are 1 pint cans, which we'll be drinking out of glasses because we're fancy. You spilled
a little bit on purpose.
You spilled.
Missed that.
And you missed the garbage can.
I'm going to have to take my mask off to drink this.
Yes, you are, but you're way
I'll
over
end
there,
up
so it's okay.
infecting you or something. If I actually, can you give me some of this tissue here? I'm going to wipe up my spill.
Yes.
I should have. Hi, people. How are you? You having a good time? Guess what?
Guess what?
Today, the temperature fell below 80 degrees. And so Atlanta, everybody breaks out the wool caps and winter coats.
Yeah, because it's like 70-something.
I'm driving down the street and I'm seeing these people dressed like it's 20 out. And I'm like, what are they doing?
I don't know.
How do they wear that? It's 76 degrees and they're acting like it's 6 degrees.
I know. And then parkas and caps. And
totally ridiculous.
Mittens. And I'm like, what is happening? It was colder than this last week.
Yeah. I got to move. I got to move to... somewhere way up north. I'm thinking maybe like Nova Scotia or something.
Yes. Yeah. Ooh. There's a program I watched on Netflix, and I didn't see all the seasons because I don't think all the seasons are available.
Oh yeah.
It's called The Curse of Oak Island.
Ooh.
Oak Island is an island off of Nova Scotia, and there are several rumors and stories and history that says that there's treasure buried on Oak Island. And a lot of it has to do with the Knights Templar.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So it's super cool show and super fun to watch. And, I mean, they over-dramatize things, of course, because, whatever. That's TV. But, it's fun. And it's fun to think, what if I was out there, like, digging for treasure? That might be kind of fun. But obviously, because of where it's at, they only have a certain period of time every year that they can do it, because eventually the ground freezes and it gets very, very cold.
Did you drink your beer yet?
I haven't tried it, but I saw your happy face after you did.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of good. With, like, 2 in a row here of good beers.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's a little warmer than the last beer.
It does taste very much like a latte.
Yeah.
Like a pumpkin spice latte. But it's beer.
All right.
I'm
writing a book. I'm not going to go into details, but I'm writing a book.
You're writing a book?
Have
you finished your Halloween story yet?
No, I'm working on that.
You just went straight to a book.
Yeah, I'm starting. I decided I'm going to write a book. It's gonna. I'm hoping that it'll be done, ready to come out next year.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll do details, and I'm only saying it to kind of put pressure on me to actually finish the book.
Now that you've admitted you're doing it.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to. I think it's. I'm going to be working on it. I got. It's just something I'm interested in. I don't think I'm going to have a problem necessarily finishing it.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
Cool. I can't wait to read it. Will it be something I want to read?
No.
Oh.
Oh, I don't know. You might.
Doubtful.
I don't know.
Doubtful.
There are no boobs in it.
Well, then probably not.
Just the author's a boob.
Does anybody die?
No.
There's no murder.
Maybe. It's a self-help book. So
maybe there is. Maybe somebody does die.
Might cause someone to die. I don't know. Would you rather? Hey, let's play a little game of Would You Rather,
Let's
right?
do it.
Toss some colored dice. If you don't know about the Would You Rather game, we do this every show, as well as the beer.
Yeah, both of them. Every show.
So you drop a color stone, yellow. You fished around and pulled out. You did.
I tried to make sure I only dropped one.
All right, you get a blue. You drop a color stone, and the color of the stone coordinates with a question, which I'm going to ask.
And my color was blue, so what kind of category is that,
She
Rick?
cheated. Blue is appearance and embarrassment.
I have all those things.
I still feel like that red should be that.
Because you turn red when you get embarrassed?
Yeah. Would you rather walk around with an off-center plastic surgery chin implant?
Oof.
So your chin is off-center, I guess.
Right.
Or a nose which looks great but is non-functional. Why would you have a non-functional nose?
Well, I love to smell things, so I'm going to go with the chin. Nobody's face is perfectly symmetrical. They look weird when people are like, whenever you do like computer generated, like you take one half of somebody's face and then you just basically like go and put it on the other side, so it looks like people look weird like that.
Yeah, definitely.
The symmetry in the face looks odd.
Mm-hmm.
So if my chin's a little off, I don't have a problem with it.
What if you're like Eric Stoltz in Mask?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not out there trying to get any. You know, I'm not worried.
He got some though.
He did. Yes, he did. Yeah.
She had to be blind though. That's kind of cruel.
That's kind of fucked up.
I don't know what that means.
Oh.
He could always have just said, "Hey, look, I'm Eric Stoltz," and she'd be like, "Oh, okay, then let's do it."
Yeah, sure. I'm with you there.
Yeah. You know, he was supposed to be Marty McFly.
I know. They even started filming.
Yeah, you could find that, I think, on YouTube or like director's cuts and stuff. You can actually see they actually filmed some of the movie with him. Can you imagine?
And then he got fired.
I think I mentioned this last week or two. I downloaded a book called "Don't You Forget About Me."
Don't you forget about me.
Now we got to pay royalties. Thank. It is the story of John Hughes and the Brat Pack.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of behind-the-scenes things of Brat Pack movies and John Hughes. It's really interesting. It's not the most well-written book.
Uh-huh.
It's okay. It's just kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
But the stories are kind of cool, especially like my generation.
Of course.
I grew up with
old
those people.
people.
Did I already throw something?
No, you didn't.
I haven't tossed any stones.
I'm waiting
here.
patiently.
I was talking about Eric Stoltz.
And it
That
got
which
you all
makes me
confused.
think that it's going to be red because he's got red hair.
Okay, it's blue.
Another blue one.
Another blue one.
Blew it.
Once again, it's appearance and embarrassment.
Uh-huh.
And would you rather have rampant fingernail fungus
Ooh.
or permanent nose warts?
I'll go with the fungus. You can get rid of fungus.
That's true. But it's rampant. Like you're going to have to fight it constantly.
That's fine. The nose thing is permanent, so you can't even fight it.
That's true. But then you just have to accept it and move on.
Okay, so I have a question. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you heard about this. So, you know, all the Ren fairs are canceled. There's no Ren fairs. Ren fairs are done for this year.
I thought that Texas was still doing theirs.
Texas is still doing theirs. Mm-hmm. So in order to curse them, they just had a fire. Mm-hmm. And several of their buildings burned down.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. God.
I feel like that there's someone, they're like the 2020, the god of 2020.
Says no.
Hugh Downs is the god of 2020. And he's cursing everyone.
Yep.
And so finally, like, Texas Ren Fair was like, all right, COVID's starting to drop a little bit. We're going to have some social distancing. Let's get out there and do this. Let's let people have some fun.
Uh-huh.
And Hugh Downs said, no.
No.
I'm going to burn some buildings down.
I'm going to burn you down.
So they lost, a pretzel building and a couple other things. But people immediately started a GoFundMe, so they're going to build it back. And I think
good.
You don't want to piss Hugh Downs off. I think now he's probably coming up with some other thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's burned half of California at this point.
Yeah.
So, he's pissed.
Earthquakes. It's not over.
It's not.
We have several more months, and curses are surely coming.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure.
And I'm hoping I have my fingers crossed that in January things are just going to be all roses again.
No,
but it's not. I mean, people are like 2020 sucks.
Yeah.
You're right, but it's just going to suck well into 2021 too.
So one of the sucky things for me, and a lot of people too, this week. We lost Eddie Van Halen. Well, we didn't lose him. We know where he went.
You know where he is.
But
you don't know where he went. Like, physically where he is.
Well, he went in the ground.
Okay.
I guess. I mean, he didn't. But yeah. So here's the thing. Now, I can't remember, and I'm almost positive, but I don't want to go back and listen.
Okay.
I don't have that much commitment to our show.
I don't either.
But I do remember last year at one point we had a show. It was one of our morbid shows where we talked about which celebrity would die in 2020.
Yep.
And I said Eddie Van Halen.
You did.
And I don't remember who else we talked about. Are you Hugh Downs? No.
Are you Hugh Downs?
But here's the thing. I heard at the end of last year that he was not doing well.
Right.
So you're the one that told me that he died. I was doing work.
That is correct.
And you texted me, and I didn't know. And so, but I wasn't that surprised.
Yeah.
Because I knew from what I had heard it was coming. And I think David Lee Roth had said some stuff that actually made his family mad because he didn't want anybody to know he was that sick, which I don't know why, but he just didn't. And so I read a story that he and Sammy Hagar made up and became buddies again. And Sammy said they didn't talk about it in public because they didn't want anybody to. First of all, they didn't want people to start speculating there was going to be a reunion,
right? Which
they both knew would never happen. And Eddie just didn't want people to know he was that sick,
which is weird. I mean,
yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. But Sammy was he just wanted to put all of that bad energy away, and I was kind of glad to hear that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but man, so, and I think I've told this story before on the podcast about my how I became an Eddie Van Halen fan.
Well, I don't remember it because I hardly listen to you when you speak anyway.
You hardly listen to the show either. So, I was a lifelong Valerie Bertinelli groupie.
Yes.
Huge crush.
Yes.
On
you still
Valerie
have
Bertinelli.
The crush.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's not gone.
So like when I was in high school, I had pictures of her all over my freaking wall. I mean, just covered. And then when I went to college, I took all the photos down. I took them to my dorm and I put them all over my wall. And I'll never forget, like, I would get knocks on my door.
Right.
And the door would open. There'd be some guy I didn't know who it was. Like, are you the guy with the Valerie Bertinelli pictures? And I'd be like, yeah. Can I see him? And I was like,
That's
okay.
so weird.
And they would come in there, just look at my wall and go, oh, man. And just sit and stare at my wall.
That is weird. I mean, that's creepy weird.
I had to make sure they didn't touch themselves. But that I became famous for the Valerie Bertinelli on the wall. Because my whole wall was covered.
Because that's something that girls tended to do, not boys.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I guess it was about 1981. I think that's when they got married, 81. All of a sudden, I just hear, I think I knew they were dating, but all of a sudden, boom, they're getting married. And I'm like, crap.
There goes your chance.
Didn't even get the opportunity.
Nope.
So I remember I just thought, all right, I have to see who this guy is.
Right.
Because I knew of Van Halen when I was in high school. I was not a Van Halen fan.
Right.
And all these guys would sing Van Halen songs, and I was just like, don't metalheads, get out of here. I wasn't really a big metal guy back then. I was into Billy Joel and Barry Manilow. Mm-hmm. You can't be a metal guy and like Barry Manilow.
Yes, you can.
I don't think you can.
I think you can.
So I just didn't pay that much attention to him. So when he married her, I was like, I got to go see who this guy is. So last minute, I got Van Halen tickets in Knoxville Civic Auditorium.
Nice.
Yeah. My ticket was on the stage was here. I was here. I was on the exact opposite end of the stage against the wall at the very top of the auditorium. Gosh. As far back as you could possibly get. And this is before someone had the great idea of having the big screens. So it was just ants. See, yeah. I don't even know that it was really Eddie.
It might not have even been them, honestly.
But so I watched it, and it was one of my first, I guess, rock concerts, maybe. And I was blown away. I was instantly a fan.
Who did you go with? Do you remember?
Myself.
Just by yourself?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Me and Valerie Bernelli went.
Yeah.
So I was just like, man, that was incredible. So I knew I had to go back the next year. So the next year I go back. I'm standing like 20 people back from the stage. So I see it like perfect. It's just, they're close. Right there.
Yep.
So I just stood there, and then someone would pass out, and I would get in their spot. And then they would pass, another one would pass out, I'd get in their spot. So I moved to I think it was about 10 back. So I saw them really well on that one. I actually took a camera, and I took some photos, which I still have. But, so, I mean, I just became like this big fan.
Of Van Halen.
I saw them with Dave 3 times, and I saw them once with Sammy.
Cool.
But I think overall, I was always more of an Eddie fan than Van Halen.
Right.
I liked the band. I still do.
Right.
But there was just I just liked him. I just thought he was just incredibly cool, and he had a great wife.
So that he must have done something.
But there was just something, especially watching him in person. There was, he just had this air about him, and he just, for me, was just the cool guy. And so I loved watching him, and I still do. So, I mean, even though I knew it was coming, it was very disappointing. I think one of the best things for me is I like the last few years had heard that he had kind of become sort of a jerk.
Really?
And just to certain people.
Okay.
And kind of difficult to work with and all this kind of stuff. So again, this is, I don't know, I'm just reading this stuff.
Right. It's all hearsay.
But he's died, and all these people have come out and said he was one of the best people they had ever worked with, that he was a great person. So I guess some of the stuff I heard might not have been completely accurate. Everybody has their bad days. Who knows?
Well, and you got to remember, when you're fighting a terminal illness like that, you tend to get on some medications that might affect your personality.
Yeah, I thought about that. I'm sure he'd had some steroids and things like that. So it was nice to kind of hear that, stories that he was a nice guy, super nice guy, and just, I don't know. I kind of fell down this rabbit hole this week of watching videos of him doing solos and stuff. Oh, man, there's such a great one on where it just seems like 20 minutes he does nothing but just go crazy. Yeah. So, man, it's great.
That's my guitar impersonation, by the way.
So you can't even do it with your mouth as good as he can do it with his hands. That's what she said.
That's what she said.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess for my generation, he was just a larger than life figure. But I've seen where like a lot of much younger people are starting to kind of realize, because of this, how great he was. I think for a while there's this sort of threw him off as like a boomer band or something. Right. Doesn't have anything to do with them. But then watching it, a lot of people are like, wow.
Yeah. Now, I will tell you that, growing up with that kind of music always playing around me, I used to love Van Halen. Mm-hmm. Eventually, like, everybody tries to be Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
So eventually it just starts to sound like noise. Like, to me, it really does. I don't know if I was getting old in my teenage years, because I'd be like, it's just noise. But, eventually you've got to have listenability. Mm-hmm. And Van Halen has listenability.
Yeah.
Like you can listen to it over and over and over again, and you know the tune, and you know the words, and you know all that, you know. But all these people trying to be like him are just trying to be faster, and you know, and it just doesn't have the listenability that
No, but
they
he
do.
changed the way people played that instrument, which I think is very interesting to be a person who will change the way an art form is.
I agree.
And that's kind of amazing. And they said he just, even though, you know, he knew what he was doing, he just never knew he was as good as he was, or that people saw him for being as great as he was. Apparently he was very modest.
Yes.
But I've read a lot of stories about him, and he was one of those people. He was like, no, if he goes and buys a new guitar, he doesn't let anything be as it is. He has to take it apart and remake it. And so he was famous for just rebuilding his guitars and changing things and putting things on. And just they talked about his pedals that he would just like strap together with Band-Aids, and then you would put things to, you know, just like operated on everything. And so he started his own company, EVH Guitars and Amps, so that they can make guitars the way he wanted them to be made. So I think it was Gibson, and I believe it's Gibson, who was one of the companies that actually started doing it and making it. And so, yeah, now that's a big company now. So, and he is, I don't know, I think what's going to happen to this company, because everything had to go through him.
Oh, wow. Even up to this day.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there were some really cool stories about just, you know, other guitarists that he would meet. And these are maybe not bands, even though they're probably well known. They're certainly not Van Halen quality, but he just liked other guitarists. And he would talk to someone, he's like, I'm going to send you a guitar. And he would just send them like tons of equipment. And they would be like, holy crap, I got all of this stuff from Eddie.
That's awesome.
And he would call and he would be like, how do you like it? What do you think? You know, he just wanted people to enjoy playing guitar. And it's, man, I mean, he just seemed like a cool guy, I guess. You know, I think about it, never going to get to meet him, obviously, but.
And his son, Wolfgang, he got to play with him on stage.
Well, he's got a new album of his own coming out, so that'll be kind of interesting.
They toured together.
One thing, and I don't know yet how I feel about it, but I guess it's inevitable, so you just got to get used to it. But they say that he has, you know, a closet full of songs and stuff that he wrote and did himself and never released it. He didn't just, it's like Prince, you know, he just didn't want to release it. He just got like
he did it for his own enjoyment. Yeah.
So now someone's going to go in there and you're going to start hearing all this new stuff. And I'm kind of, you know, I think it'd be fun just to hear how it's something that he did completely on his own.
Yeah, I agree.
I like the fact that it's going to go through his son and his brother, because I think they're going to be very, very careful about what goes out.
Good. They should be.
Yeah.
Because, well, I hate to say it like this, but they have an opportunity to make a lot of money off of it.
They will.
But they also have an opportunity to do it in a classy way.
Yeah.
And they you know, they got to be careful so that they don't do it in a crass way.
Yeah.
Or what's the word I'm looking for?
Exploitive.
Yeah, an exploitive kind of way. We don't want that.
Well, and this is kind of sad too, but he had plans in 2019. He was putting the entire band back together. So he was going to put Michael Anthony back on bass. Dave was going to sing lead, and then he said, I wanted Van Halen to go out the way they came in, with just like, you know, double barrels, just going crazy. So, but obviously that didn't get to happen. So that's kind of sad, but man, they left a legacy. That's some interesting stuff. I don't know. I'm a Sammy guy, so I've watched a lot of the Sammy stuff. And I listened to their latest album is a live album with Dave. Man, it sucks. Dave can't sing anymore.
Well, that happens to a lot of folks, especially folks that sing that type of music.
Yeah, and he just didn't try. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. But anyway, Eddie Van, gone. Sad.
Bye, Eddie. It's all right. It's all right. People die. I mean, people die every day.
I know. It's sad when, you know, I mean, he's just, you know, he's a superstar. Yeah. One of the big guys.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, when you think of like Mozart, he's that quality during our time. And then from years and years later, I think his music will continue to survive. And
I'm sure.
People will look at him in a different way. And I also believe that some of his, especially if he's got stuff like jazz in the storage, and it comes out and you hear some new things that you have never heard before. It could kind of be cool.
That would be very cool.
Yeah. That's enough about Eddie. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to gush too much.
Go on and on and on. My goodness. So.
I have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
Not about Eddie.
Okay.
So let's say you have a really good friend.
Uh-huh.
A really good friend who you also consider attractive.
Okay.
And you're just friends.
Right.
No plans, no desire to take it beyond another friendship.
Okay.
I mean, beyond the friendship.
Okay.
But it's someone that, you would find attractive and you just could, and I'm not talking about me. I know you
Clearly.
consider me attractive, but. So let's say your friend just comes to you and says, I'm sorry, but I kind of going through a thing. I'm just a little bit lonely and let's get together and do a little nasty.
What an interesting question.
Would you consider it? Would you consider, I guess the overall question is, would you consider crossing that line with a friend when it would just be that. It would just be sex with your friend. It wouldn't lead anywhere else. It wouldn't, that would be all it is. And so a person who's your friend, who has been your friend now will be a friend that you have been intimate with, sexually intimate with. Would you do that? Would you cross?
Is the okay? So in this scenario, both me and my friend are single.
Well, sure.
Okay.
I'm assuming, yeah.
Okay. And in this scenario, is this a one-time deal, or do you want to would it be a thing where we would just start doing this regularly?
No, I feel like that it's just I'm going through some crap. I need someone.
I just want to have sex.
I need a person to be close to, and this is like a really good friend of yours, and it's not someone that you're repulsed by.
Right.
And would you say, sure, let's do it?
I don't know. That's a tough question for me.
Because you're horny?
Yes.
Sorry.
Stop it. As I get older, though, I will tell you that, and I guess this has always been true. If I am intimate, if I'm physically intimate with someone like that, I have a hard time keeping it physical only.
Okay.
Like, emotions come into play.
Right.
Like, really quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I mean, there would have to be like a long conversation about things. There would have to be more data.
Okay.
To make my decision.
So like Star Trek sex?
I would have sex with Brent Spiner. Yes, I would.
I remember reading that Ashton Kutcher and what's his wife's name? Mia Kunis had that arrangement.
Mila
Yes. Kunis. They had that arrangement for a while before they were married. They weren't even dating, and they just kind of got together and they said, here's the thing, let's have sex. We're friends. Let's have sex. And, that's it. It'll just be friendship, no commitment, no anything. And if someone gets feelings,
right,
we stop.
Right.
We're not going to take it into feelings land.
Right.
And
that's when you have to trust your friend to be completely honest with you.
And she got feelings. And she said, let's quit. And he was like, why?
Yeah.
And she was like, remember our deal? And he was like, yeah. And so they quit. And then next thing you know, he calls her and he goes, I got feelings too.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
So, yeah. One thing led to another.
So cute. These youngsters today.
I know.
Oh my goodness. So okay, so
could you do? But do you don't think you would do it then? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think I would.
Wow.
I don't think I could. I think.
Does it depend on the friend?
Ask me 15 years ago, and I'd probably say yes. Matter of fact, I had an arrangement like that with a friend of mine, who I did find attractive, and we met. We were like set up on a golfing trip by mutual friends. And it was just the two of us, and we went out and played golf and had a good time. And we one thing led to another after another couple times of seeing each other, and we ended up having sex. You're breaking things. And I, he came over again another day after that, and I just basically said, I was like, look, I'm going to use you for friendship and sex. Are you okay with that? And he said, yeah, absolutely, right? And he was very good in bed, and he was somewhat attractive. So we did that for a while, and then he got feelings.
Uh-oh.
He got upset with me. He's like, you only ever come over once a week. We do the same thing every time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, this is just what we're doing. We're not dating. I'm not responsible for your feelers. So let's just stop. And then eventually he's like, no, it's okay. It's fine. But he still, I should have known not to go back and start doing it again, because you can't just stop those kinds of feelings. I don't think. Anyways, it turned into something we ended up having to stop doing.
I remember there was a couple of times that I would not have sex with someone because I knew, I kind of knew it would not be fair to the person.
Okay.
It's like you could enjoy it. I can enjoy it. But I knew it wouldn't be fair, and I would be leading someone on because it wouldn't go past that.
Because you weren't interested in anything additional, but you knew that they might be.
I was at a point where I liked them as a person.
Right. I
liked them as a friend.
Right.
But I knew I wouldn't be able to like them more than that.
Uh-huh. And
I kind of saw that they kind of were moving into
more than that.
Yeah. And I was just like, I respect the person too much to ask them to, or to treat them that way. Let's say. Yeah.
I get it. I do.
That's the worst thing about growing up.
The worst
when
thing
you're
about
a kid, you don't
up.
care about the other person. Just do it.
Just do it.
One night stands, you don't care.
Fun.
You could be like somebody you don't even know.
Yeah, totally.
And then you get older and you start caring about people, and it's just like, I don't want to hurt their feelings.
I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings.
Maybe it's just me, but I couldn't do it.
No, it's not just you. I don't think I could do it either. But I have a question for you as well. This is turning into a relationship podcast.
Oh, yeah?
I have a question.
Is it about Valerie Bertinelli?
No, it's not.
Oh, I was going to say yes.
Would you do Valerie Bertinelli?
Yeah.
If she showed up at the door today?
Yes.
Okay. That wasn't my question. Sorry. My question is, what do you do?
I hope she's not listening to the podcast.
Yeah, she listens to our
slime
podcast.
ball.
That
You'll
happens.
never have a chance.
Right. So normally I'm the one giving relationship advice here.
Okay.
But I have a question for you.
Okay.
What do you do if you have a good friend and that friend gets a new partner?
Okay.
And that partner clearly doesn't like you.
Oh.
And isn't afraid to show it.
Why doesn't the person like you?
I don't know. I mean, I have some suspicions, but it's not. I mean, okay, this is completely hypothetical. But if you
all right, so I'm your friend.
Yeah, you're my friend.
I got a partner. I got married.
Yep, you did.
So if my wife,
Yeah.
my partner, did not like you,
Right.
that's what you're asking.
Correct.
What would happen?
What would you do if you were me in that scenario?
Yeah. I don't know. I actually had a conversation with my wife about this. Because, and we've talked about this on the podcast. You and I are friends. We used to live together.
Right.
We're friends. We're still friends. And I don't know that I could have the same trust if my wife had a friend like that.
Now, you've mentioned that before. You've said that she's a bigger person than you are because she can accept the fact that we used to be together romantically.
Well, she likes you, and you guys are friends. I feel like if she and I got a divorce, or if I died, you would still stay friends.
More than likely, yes. Unless she's the one that killed you.
Well, that's true. Although you might be better friends that way.
It's possible. I mean, do you have life insurance?
Yeah, she's got some. She does. But if she kills me, she doesn't get it.
Oh,
so
okay.
she have to hire you to kill me.
There you go. I would never.
But I've thought about it. So I have been in relationships in the past where you and I would not be able to have this relationship.
Right.
In other words, more jealous
Yes.
persons, people.
Like the people that you were in a relationship with would not allow this
That's
kind
correct.
of a relationship.
Yeah. So, number one, I don't. No one tells me what to do.
Right.
But you also have to kind of, you have to, especially if you're married, you have to take the other person's feelings into consideration.
Of course.
Yeah. So I couldn't just completely write off my spouse or my partner's feelings.
Right.
But at the same time, especially if you're really good friends, and I think that would be the case if you're like best friends or really good friends, and then all of a sudden your new person is saying, "No, you can't do this." I don't know. That wouldn't work for me.
Okay, but you're talking from the position that you're in. Mm-hmm. Look at it from my position as the outsider of the relationship.
Let me just say this. If someone doesn't like you, if your friend's spouse / partner does not like you, there's a reason why. And if you have not done anything to that person specifically, like, they don't like you because you trashed their car.
Right.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
If you haven't actually done anything, then the person is threatened by you.
Right.
And the person sees you as a threat to their relationship.
Okay.
So there are two options about this. Number one, I think you can go out of your way to ensure that there's not going to be a problem.
Yes.
Be grown up. Talk to the person. Say, I'm not sure what you feel about me, but I just want you to know I really care about your friend, and I want your friend to be happy, and this person seems to be happy with you, and I love that. And so, I would like to be a friend, certainly be your support, but I just want you to know there's nothing between us. All right, so that could be one avenue.
So just face it head on.
Be a grown-up.
And be honest about it.
But you may be sending signals that you're not aware of that the person is interpreting as a threat.
No,
so you have to be really careful about that.
Because it's all perspective, right?
And then the other thing is, let me tell you a little story.
It's story time.
Let me tell you a little story about something that happened to me. I gotta be careful. I had a crush on this person for, I don't know, a few years. And we had gone on a date.
Ooh.
So that's how we met. And the person knew that I'm sure that I had an interest in her for a while.
Yeah.
Not for a while, but at one point. So, but we stayed friends. We were good friends. And I never really wanted to be in a relationship with this person.
Okay.
I discovered that we didn't have the foundation for a relationship.
You just wanted to get in their pants?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
I just wanted to be friends.
Oh, okay.
I liked the person. I found this person interesting.
Okay.
So I ended up getting married, and eventually this person did too. This person got married and had trouble in her marriage, and they separated. So at one point, she and I were texting to each other, and I admitted at the time that I had a crush on her for a long time. And she was like, "What? You have a crush on me?" I was like, "Yeah, you know that." And so we just kind of chatted about it and sort of laughed about it. And then that was it.
Yeah.
So I guess weeks, months, I don't know, later, she and her husband reconciled.
Okay.
And she told him that.
Okay.
Well, there wasn't any reason for her to ever, because we weren't doing anything.
No.
I just admitted it. But she was one of those people that kind of liked life drama.
So she told her husband, who she just recently reconciled with, that you had
I
a crush on.
had a crush on her.
To what end? Like to make him...
I think she just wanted to either make him jealous or...
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But her life was that. It was kind of
and this
run
is
by
why
drama.
you could never have a relationship with her. Yes. Okay.
And so I just didn't see a reason for that to happen. But I'm telling you this because you don't know that that's not happening with your friend. How do you know your friend behind closed doors not saying, Cheri kind of likes me. I know she does, or whatever. You don't know what kind of information that this person is telling his or her partner.
Right.
So.
And I can't assume.
You can't assume. You don't know.
Yeah. So
really, I feel like the best option is just a one-on-one on the person and just say, look, I'm not doing this. I'm not pursuing. I don't want to. I like this person as a friend, but we're not going down that path.
Right.
You have nothing to worry about. I want to see this person happy, and this person seems to be happy with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's awesome. So you will not have to worry about me. I just want you to know that, please. And then if the person still doesn't like you, there's nothing you can do about that.
You're right.
And ultimately, that person might try to sabotage your relationship with your friend. And if your friend doesn't do anything about it, it's doomed. There's nothing you can do about it.
I agree. I think I've reached this age where if somebody just doesn't like me, with me not having done anything to them,
mm-hmm.
but they just choose not to like me,
yeah,
I'm not going to go out of my way.
Who the hell cares?
To make somebody like me. I'm just not going to do
it's
it.
Not high school.
It's not high school.
No.
I don't need everybody to like me.
Right.
It's never been the case that everybody likes me. I'm used to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to force myself on somebody at all. If we can be civil, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just don't like me for whatever reason, that's your prerogative. And it's not my business. Yeah. Honestly, it's really not my business how you feel about me. It's really not. I'm not part of that conversation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it doesn't hurt to figure out what's going on. So, just dialogue a little bit, and then you can go, oh, it's a misinterpretation.
Right.
Or, oh, she's crazy. So, you never know. One of the two could happen.
Or something else.
But I'm just saying, just get that going, and then things will start clearing up. If the burden is on them,
right,
you can't do anything.
I can't fix that.
You will never be able to.
Nope.
If it's a misinterpretation and it's on you, you can fix that.
I can fix that.
And you could say, look, please don't misunderstand. And then, that's what grown-ups do.
That's what grown-ups do.
What we're supposed to do anyway.
Right.
We don't always.
No, we do not.
No.
Well, that's really helpful advice. I appreciate that.
I mean, it's hard to do. It is hard to do. But if you hang around them.
Well, sometimes the hardest conversations to have are the ones you need to have.
You could do it one night just when you're in a circle chatting.
Casually?
Just if you find yourself one-on-one. But if not, you can always just say, hey, could you...
Can I have 15 minutes of your time?
Could you sit on the porch with me for a second? I want to talk to you about something.
Yeah.
Or, why don't you come over to my place for, dessert? I got some. I want to chat about something or whatever. I'm not. I mean, it doesn't have to be that formal, but I'm just saying. Just seize the opportunity, and then in the course of, the conversation, if it starts becoming apparent that the person is just crazy, then you can back out. It's like. Okay, I see what's going on here.
I see. Yeah. That's
and
true.
then I don't think I would approach your friend about it. I mean, obviously, if you're talking to your friend at some point, you might say, look, I just want you to be secure and understanding there's not going to be any kind of line crossing by me here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm for your relationship and go for it. And boom, let's just clear that up.
Yeah,
because then you don't know. Maybe that person thinks you have a crush on them, and then they're telling their spouse, like my friend did. So just find out.
Just gotta dig at it a little bit, and
mature about it.
It doesn't have to be like tomorrow. It doesn't. It's not.
If you're not doing anything,
I'm not going to force. Like I said, I'm not going to force myself on anyone,
right? And
I'm not going to force a conversation,
right?
That isn't an organic conversation.
If you're not actually doing something, like if you're not actually behind the scenes trying to break them up or trying to get in the partner's pants or friend's pants or whatever, if you're not actually doing that, the burden is not on you.
Right.
You're not doing anything. So you could look at it from an outsider and go, I need to clear this up so everybody's okay and everybody's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, especially if they're kind of a new couple, the person might be very happy to have an advocate, especially if you're friends with someone, you've been friends longer.
Right.
That could also be a threat. Just like, this person longer than the new person knows, and they feel a little threatened by that.
Oh,
but just to step out and say, I'm your advocate. I'm for it. Look, my friend is happy. I've seen, this person happier than I've seen this person in a long time.
Right.
And I think it's awesome.
Right.
And you're doing it and great, and you have my support. If you ever want to come to me and talk to me about anything, I'm here.
Okay.
And you might completely solve the
And I might end up with a new friend.
You might end up with a new friend, or you might, end up with a black eye. I don't know. Who knows?
Or, at the very least, if I find an opportunity to have a conversation with this person, and I'm adult and grown up about it, and they react in that way as well, and they're adult and grown up about it, at least it's out there.
Yeah, that's the best thing, just putting it out.
Yeah.
Just talk it out.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't come to a good conclusion, at least the issue is being addressed, and it's being recognized and verbalized.
Yeah.
So
it's something I learned this past weekend. I went up to North Georgia, a very secluded place up in North Georgia, little tiny town. And my wife and I stayed in a cabin. I did some work up there, and I learned something about myself. Now I'm not an extrovert at all.
No,
Very
you're
much
not.
an introvert. I'm not. Social interaction is not one of my strengths.
No, it's not.
But I kind of, I started analyzing. Well, I had to go to the grocery store, and I'm at the grocery store here in this little tiny town, and I'm shopping, and I'm feeling very insecure.
Just because?
Just because I'm me.
Okay, gotcha.
But I started analyzing. I was like, why? Why am I feeling like this? What's the problem here? And the more I thought about it, the more I just thought, I feel like it's like being in someone else's house. I feel like I don't.
You feel like an imposter or an intruder.
An intruder.
Mm-hmm. Like
I
you're
feel
imposing.
Like people look like, who's this guy? Why is he here?
How weird.
Yeah, and people, ask questions like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? And they may just want to know information, but to me, I feel, I won't say attacked, but I just
interrogated.
Yeah, I guess. But I started thinking about it, and I just thought, why? Why do I feel that way?
Yeah.
What is it about? What is it about me that I feel that I'm so on guard about that? And I don't know, I just started analyzing it, and I just started thinking, one of the things that I've learned in relationships is just talk.
Just talk.
Talk.
Mm-hmm.
You solve so many problems because I don't talk. I tend to I harbor things.
Yes.
I take my feelings and I put it in here, and I put it, and then you keep pushing it down, and finally it just blows up.
Like one of those suitcases that you have to sit on to
Yes.
zip up. Yeah. Eventually it's just going to burst.
That's what I do. And so one of the things I've learned in a relationship is don't let that happen.
Right.
When things start bothering you, just talk. What's the worst that's going to happen?
Right.
Just talk about it and don't attack. Because if you talk about it instantly, it usually isn't an attack. The attack starts coming when it's piled up and you feel trapped.
Yep.
So you can start talking about things early on.
So if somebody hurts your feelers, whether they're doing it unintentionally or not, or whether they're even aware of it, if you bring it up immediately and you say, when you do that, that tends to hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
It's immediate, and it's they can recognize what it is they just did in that moment, and it's not like a week later going, remember last week when you said this, because they're not going to remember the feelings and the emotion of the moment a week from now.
But even if they do, it's usually packed with a whole bunch more emotion behind it.
Yeah,
it's more dangerous.
Yep.
Because they've packed all this other emotion behind it, and so when it comes out, there's more likely opportunity that it's going to explode.
Right.
Even if you talk about it and someone's feelings get hurt, it's usually, unless it's tied into past events, you could talk about it easier, even if you hurt someone's feelings, because it's not as charged.
Yeah.
But I thought about it, and I just thought, another thing is just, I grew up in very rural East Tennessee, conservative. You know, if you're a stranger, you're weird.
Right.
If you're different from everybody else, you're just some kind of
if you have an original idea, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. And I think both my parents are kind of like that. It's just like anybody that wasn't normal was just as my dad would say, a yahoo.
A yahoo. Oh my gosh.
So I think I have that in me, you know, that kind of feeling of being judged because I'm not standard. You're not normal. I'm not like everyone else. And there was just something that broke this weekend. I just thought about it. I was like, I'm too old for that.
Yeah, way too old for that.
I don't need to worry about that.
No, you don't.
In fact, let them worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just started thinking, I was just like, why not talk? Why don't I talk to people that I'm different from? Why don't you go talk to people who have completely different ideas and just listen to them? Ask them questions. Why do you think that? Don't judge them. Just like talk to them.
Explain that to them. Yeah.
You know, why do you think that way? What made you do that? Why are you still living here? Why do you enjoy it here? Just ask questions. And now, to some people, that's not a revelation, but to me, that's a big deal. And so I just found myself just like, oh, wow, okay. I don't have to have this edge and worry that, you know, I'm going to, you know, hit up against someone's head, you know, and you're going to have a conflict. Just don't worry about it.
Just don't worry about it.
Ask
people. If you say something
even if someone's like aggressive to you.
Yeah.
Just, hey, really? Okay, why do you think that? That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, and
what
just
makes you feel that way?
Let people talk.
Yeah.
I think so much conflict comes from the fact that people feel like they're not being heard.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, this is something I deal with at work all the time. People just sometimes you get an upset customer, and sometimes it's our fault completely, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just by design. You know, something that they thought worked one way doesn't, and you still have to give them their time to vent.
Yeah.
And you have to let them know that they're being heard. And you have to say, you know, but there's also a way to diffuse as well. If you get an upset customer who calls up, blah, 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 you know, and they're just irate and they're upset, obviously the first thing you do is make sure that you get them to a normal functionality again so that they can do their job, right? And then if they continue on and on and on, I tell my people this all the time. I'm like, explain to them that we have a survey that will come when the ticket closes, you know, and if they fill that out, if they take a minute to fill that survey out, that goes to your boss's boss, you know, and it gets examined by a lot of people. That'll shut somebody up in a heartbeat because you're telling them, look, here's an outlet for you, right? You don't have to chew my ear off. I mean, you don't say that out loud, but here, I'm offering you this outlet so that you can, you know, be heard by the people that need to hear this. And I've found, like, I listen to calls. I have to listen to calls all the time to do, like, call reviews. And when somebody says that to a customer, they just shut up. They just stop immediately. They're like, oh, okay, good. I'll do that. And then done, right? So it's not a waste of their time because now they don't have to go through it twice. It's not a waste of the technician's time because they don't have to sit there and listen to it when they could be helping another customer. We know the customer's been taken care of and everything is good, you know, on their end. They can continue with their day. But to give somebody an outlet to allow them to be heard, it stops a lot of unnecessary venting.
We live in a society where everybody, you know, you put a comment, let's say Facebook, immediately someone likes it, someone dislikes it, someone counters your whatever you put, someone disagrees with it, someone makes fun of it, whatever. So even if we think we're being heard, we're not being heard. We're putting our opinion out there for people to attack it.
Yep.
And I don't know. I just came to that realization where I was just like, why not? Even if I don't agree with what someone says, why do I have to put mine in? Why don't I just let them say theirs?
Yeah.
And then let it be. Just listen.
Just listen.
Just listen.
Shut up and listen.
Even if you don't agree, you don't have to say I don't agree. Why do I need to say I don't agree?
This person doesn't care if you agree. That's one thing.
It's almost like a healing thing. You can actually heal people because it's like they release this aggressive energy, this negative energy they're carrying around because no one's listening to me, no one hears me,
If you can stop and say, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Please tell me what you have to say.
And if they come to you and say, do you agree with what I just said? You can go, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. Or I don't know that I do, but I respect, your opinion, and you certainly have a right. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, I think if you just listen and don't say a word, but listen, they will be happy. You'll be their best friend.
I agree.
So maybe that's your solution. Just listen.
Just listen.
And then if it's wrong, if what they're saying, if the interpretation is wrong, maybe you can correct it. But yeah,
or maybe not.
But that's my mission. I have a mission to listen.
That's your mission to listen in life.
Let's listen to this beer. What do you think about our? Let's talk really quick about Halloween. We didn't get a lot. We didn't get a lot of submissions this year.
No.
So I think we're going to be deciding this week how we're going to try to
spit it out, Baldwin.
Rescue our Halloween show.
Yeah.
People are too busy. People are busy.
People have lives, man.
People have lives in COVID.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to see if we can salvage it. That's the word I was looking for, salvage instead of rescue. But we'll see what we can do. And we'll let you know next week. But thanks to those who thought about doing something and didn't have the opportunity.
Thinking about it.
We gotta, but so we'll try to we'll have some sort of Halloween episode.
Something
we
will
gotta
happen.
Do that.
Yes, it'll be spooky and fun, and we'll enjoy it, and you'll enjoy it, and it'll be a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do want to say that, but we do, we appreciate everybody who listens to our show, we, just being here every week and doing this, it's hard sometimes not knowing if anyone's out there. So drop a line every once in a while. Say hi. We like hearing from you.
So lonely.
We got to talk about that Zoom. We were talking about doing a Zoom before Halloween.
We do have to do.
We'll do that soon.
Yep.
But let's talk about our beer first.
Okay.
This is a great beer, and let's see what we think about it.
So here's something that I find interesting: is my beer is practically gone.
Yeah.
And you still have half of yours.
There's a reason.
Okay.
I'm wearing a mask.
That's true.
It's harder for me to pull the mask down and
have a drink.
Suck the beer.
That's true too. Yeah. I did have a mask on, but I took that shit off.
And
I'm not saying that I don't agree with the whole mask wearing thing, because I absolutely do, but it's just me and Rick in the room right now.
And we're kind of far apart.
But
I'm wearing it because I feel a little, right this minute I don't. Maybe the solution is beer.
Maybe it is. You're protecting me.
Yeah.
And I appreciate
that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to protect you. So let's talk about Sycamore. Is that it?
Yep.
Sycamore Pumpkin Latte Blonde. Blonde ale with coffee and spices. What do you think of this beer?
It's pretty yummy.
I just think so, too.
I like it.
We've had 2 good beers in a row.
It's got yummy in my tummy.
I'm going to say something. Last week, I was going to give the beer 4.5, and I had to drop it. And I can't remember why. I think it got too sweet
at the end. Yep.
This beer, it does have some sweetness, but it doesn't have too much sweetness.
The one thing that I'm going to complain about with this beer is that initial flavor of the beer has the strong coffee. That dissipates.
Okay.
And I would prefer to have that flavor through to the end. I don't know, I don't make beer. I don't know how to make that happen.
I wanted to say it's very earthy. It tastes like fall to me. It does. I could taste the leaves and all this stuff. It's kind of weird, but that's probably the coffee.
Like you fell on your face.
Yeah, like I fell. This beer tastes like you fell on your face in a pile of leaves.
Yes, it does.
That are burning. That's what this beer tastes like.
And you spilled your coffee on you.
Yeah, but that's a good thing at this point. So I'm giving it what I was going to give last week, 4.5, which is a high ranking for me.
It's very high for you.
And I like this beer. I like last week's too, so that's 2 in a row.
I'm going to give it a 4.
Nice.
I
got to write this down.
Yeah, write that down.
I'm giving it 4.5.
So where are we on our beer list that we have?
Now that I'm got a little bit of freedom, I'm putting it up.
Good.
Because I'm done with my little project that I was working on.
Okay, good.
So within I don't know, next few days, sometime this week, I'm hoping I'm going to have everything up. It's going to take a while.
I'm going to mention this really quick. Our show is coming out a little bit late.
A little bit.
It's
yeah.
coming out on the evening of
You weren't
the
feeling
day.
up. You weren't feeling up for it yesterday when
I
we
was
were
not.
supposed to record.
I was not. And we always go to the last minute before we
Yeah.
do it, and then shit like that happens.
Yeah. And now you got to
So-
get home to see your dog.
And now I got to get home because the pup's at the house.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to us. We're very happy that you do, and we hope you're having a good October, even though things are burning down and great guitar players are dying.
Yeah.
We hope in your little neck of the woods you're listening to each other and wearing your mask.
Wearing your mask.
And drinking good beer.
Yeah.
And listen to our podcast soon because we're going to have some good stories. I hope
so.
I hope we're going to do
We'll
that.
see.
We'll do
see.
some kind of Halloween thing. So we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
This is a Violet Jester Media podcast.